Residents' most extraordinary UFO encounter. The early hours of February 26, 2016 would prove to be unlike any other in the quiet Welsh village of Pentyrc. Residents were about to witness events that would challenge everything they thought they knew about what was possible in our skies. At 2:15 a.m., multiple witnesses reported seeing massive explosions, brilliant lights piercing the darkness, and what appeared to be an aerial battle between military aircraft and an enormous pyramid-shaped craft of unknown origin. This was no ordinary UFO sighting. Witnesses described a structured vessel forming over a row of trees, outlined in bright white lights. The craft appeared to be several hundred feet in length, dwarfed when ported, hearing explosions so powerful they shook houses and woke people from deep sleep across a wide area. The encounter culminated in a massive detonation that lit up the Welsh countryside. When dawn broke, witnesses discovered what they believed to be evidence of a crash site: 60-foot trees snapped in half, scorch marks on surrounding vegetation, and a trail of destruction through Clywydog Woods. Within hours, teams of unidentified personnel arrived to conduct what appeared to be an extensive cleanup operation. The official military response was swift and categorical: training exercise, routine maneuvers, nothing more. But witnesses remained convinced they had observed something unprecedented, a genuine battle between terrestrials. When she agreed to meet with them, she had seen and whom she had spoken with. When she examinedly threatened with potentially fatal consequences if she continued discussing the events publicly. The threats were specific and chilling: references to car accidents that happen all the time, questions about her concern for her family's safety. The message was clear: maintain silence or face consequences. For investigators attempting to examine the case, these reported intimidation tactics added another layer of complexity. Istersevic incident was merely a routine military training exercise. As officially claimed, why would anyone feel the need to discourage witnesses from sharing their experiences? The object appeared to emerge from what witness described as a black veil. The craft rotated slowly counterclockwise as it assumed an upright position. From the apex of the pyramid, witnesses reported the ejection of a bright green object that moved across to nearby trees and remained stationary, rocking gently back and forth. This was followed by the appearance of what were described as barrel-shaped red objects, roughly the size of small cars, moving silently through the air with what appeared to be internal movement, like cake mix turning in on itself. The military response was immediate and overwhelming. Witnesses reported seeing 20 military aircraft in action simultaneously, a deployment that would be unprecedented for a routine training. Received reports from staff describing a loud explosion that woke patients and set off alarm systems. Dense smoke with an unusual sulfurous odor was reported entering the building through ventilation systems. At first light, witnesses made their way to Clywydog Woods, following what they believed would be the crash trajectory of the destroyed object. What they discovered provided the first potential physical evidence that something extraordinary had occurred. Trees up to 60 feet in height had been snapped in half at mid-trunk level, creating a clear path of destruction through the forest. The damage pattern was consistent with something large moving through the woodland at high speed. The severed tree trunks, some 12 to 14 inches in diameter, showed clean breaks rather than the splintered damage typically associated. What appeared to be a systematic survey of the area until the ignalic equipment housed in metal cases. Witnesses who attempted to observe the operation reported being closely monitored by the personnel, who would stand and watch anyone passing through the area until they were out of sight. The cleanup operation continued for several weeks, suggesting something significant had occurred that required extensive investigation and potential evidence removal. For residents who had witnessed the events of February 26, the presence of these teams provided further confirmation that the official explanation of a routine training exercise was inadequate. Dr. Gary Jones, a UFO investigator and journalist, spent 5 years attempting to extract information. Jones documented his success cessation was incomplete. Jones documented his interactions with ministry officials, noting that their explanations for the events changed multiple times over the course of his investigation. The shifting narrative suggested uncertainty about how to address the incident publicly while maintaining official secrecy about its true nature. His research extended beyond official channels to include radar tracking data that showed unusual flight patterns in the days leading up to February 26. Military aircraft were documented following zigzag patterns around the Pentyrc area for 3 consecutive nights, behavior consistent with surveillance or search operations rather than routine training flights. The radar data supported witness accounts that the partial damage to the forest. Lightning strikes were also ruled out as a cause, that the damage pattern showed strikes broken at consistent heights rather than the random damage typically associated with electrical strikes. Additionally, the clean breaks observed in the tree trunks were inconsistent with lightning damage, which typically results in explosive splintering. The elimination of natural phenomena as explanations for the physical evidence left investigators with the conclusion that some form of artificial event had occurred. Whether this was conventional military activity a central question. Emmeline Williams, another UFO investigator who studied the case extensively, conducted electromagnetic field measurements at the reported crash site 18 months after the incident. His readings showed the reported deployment of military explanations of multiple aircraft types over a residential area in the early morning hours, resulting in explosions powerful enough to wake hospital patients, did not align with standard military training protocols. His analysis of the witness testimony found consistent details across multiple independent accounts. The descriptions of the pyramid-shaped craft, the military response, and the sequence of events matched between witnesses who had no opportunity to coordinate their stories. This consistency suggested genuine observation rather than fabricated accounts. The case gained additional credibility when polygraph examinations were conducted on the primary witness, Cassandra Clark. Several witnesses of any apparent motive for fabrication. None of the witnesses sought financial compensation or media attention for their stories. Several witnesses reported negative consequences from coming forward, including social stigma and alleged intimidation. Clark's decision to speak publicly about her experiences came at significant personal cost. In addition to the reported threats, she experienced social isolation as community members struggled to accept the extraordinary nature of her claims. Her hair allegedly turned white within 24 hours of the encounter, a physical change she attributed to the close proximity to one of the unidentified objects. The physical transformation was documented through photographs taken before and after the incident, showing the nature of the reported intimidation. References to car accidents and family safety represented reported in other witness intimidation. Family safety represented in other high-profile cases where witnesses claimed encounters with unidentified aerial phenomena. For investigators examining the Pentyrc case, the intimidation reports provided circumstantial evidence that the incident involved more than routine military activity. The deployment of psychological pressure tactics against civilian witnesses suggested institutional concern about public disclosure of the events. The official military response to inquiries about the investigation period. All requests for information were met with references to training exercises and national security. The Ministry of Defense's exemptions to decline Freedom of Information requests represented a significant development. This classification led a nation of the incident to involve matters of national security, elevating it beyond the level of routine training exercises. The national security classification was particularly significant given the civilian nature of the witnesses and the location of the incident. If foreign aircraft or technology were involved, this could explain the classification level and the extensive cleanup operation that followed. Alternative explanations for the classification included the testing of advanced military tech abilities. The development of new aircraft or weapons systems would justify both the security classification. Possicating conditions where unidentified aircraft over British territory would represent serious security concerns. The possibility that the incident involved foreign technology would explain both the military response and the subsequent secrecy. If advanced aircraft of unknown origin were operating in British airspace, this would constitute a significant intelligence and defense issue requiring immediate action. The deployment of multiple military aircraft types suggested preparation for engaging targets with unknown capabilities. The combination of attack helicopters transporting gated expectation of a substantial threat requiring diverse response capabilities. The three-night surveillance operation preceding the main event, the removal of wreckage and evidence was evidence of forwarding technology to summative foreign technology, with summative ration suggested institutional experience with similar recoveries, The presence of specialized teams with sophisticated equipment indicated preparation for handling unusual materials or technology that might be encountered. For investigators analyzing the physical evidence, the white burn marks on trees represented an anomaly that defied conventional explained for conventional combustion processes. The systemational combustion processes, the unusual nature of the burn marks suggested involvement of exotic propulsion systems or weapons technology not commonly encountered in conventional. The rapid deployment of ration indicated fration for sources for an extended cation of accretion, an extended cation of rationals, would rationals say, and equipment of rational and equipment for severing call-ups. The commitment of personnel and equipment for several weeks suggested that leadership considered the incident to involve matters of considerable importance. The reported electromagnetic effects experienced by witnesses during the encounter added another dimension to the analysis. Cell phone failures and electronic interference suggested the presence of technology capable of generating powerful electromagnetic fields. Advanced military aircraft often incorporate electronic warfare capabilities that considerable versions reported by witnesses would require The silent operation of large rafter of large aircraft would rafter of large technology hafter would rafter of force and technology not currently available in conventional military systems. This technological gap between reported performance and known capabilities represented one of the most puzzling aspects of the witnesses. The reported ability of the craft described by witnesses, several hundred feet in length, would make silent operation particularly challenging using conventional propulsion systems. Large aircraft typically pyramidal shape, described by Whittable over considerable distances. The reported ability of the craft to hover silently while maintaining structural integrity suggested advanced materials and engineering capabilities beyond current technological limits. The consistency sans solutions for Oracle space vehicles, Radiant solutions for spacles, ish aerospace vehicles, for Asians, incredible witness accounts indicated potential systematic counts, incredible witness accounts indicated potential systematic deployment of such technology, and counts are beat to the incredibly encounters with unidentified triangular aircraft and other counts provided performance characteristics, provided precedent for the credibility of such witness accounts. If triangular aircraft were operational in other contexts, the presence between the Pentyrc incident and other confirmed military encounters with unidentified triangular aircraft revealed the operation subvia triangular and distributed fractor is this yellow widely distributions of a single entity with the directions of a single entity with coordinated distribution of reports suggested coordinated activities rather than random appearances. The Pentagon's distraction to publicly release footage of craft represented a significant policy shift toward craft represented angular craft in the description of silent operation. Rapid accelerations the description angular propulsion technology. The Pentagon's decision to publicly release footage of triangular craft represented a significant policy shift toward greater transparency regarding unidentified aerial phenomena. This policy change occurred during the same timeframe as the Pentyrc. The witness testimony forchestra collation line collation confer collation and herculation between testimony and accounts isolation counter to characteristics visible. Insistency of alien accounts and military documentation suggested a common technological basis for such effects. The military response to routine aircraft feat. The reported electromagnetic effects during the Pentyrc encounter matched similar effects documented in other triangular craft incidents. The consistency of electromagnetic interference reports across multiple cases suggested a common technological basis for such effects. The military response to routine aircraft incidents, the deployment, the presence of teams with significant importance, the BF had significant importance to be a significant important equipment during the cleanup phase suggested analysis of electromagnetic or electronic signatures associated with the incident. Such equipment would be necessary for understanding the technological basis of any exotic propulsion or communication systems involved. The incident was considered to involve matters of the full extent of physical effects from the incident. This comprehensive approach suggested concern that conventional analysis methods might be inadequate for understanding the technology involved. The coordination between military and intelligence agencies evident in the response suggested that if the incident involved routine training activity as effectually claimed the tactics to design investigation and reporting. The witnesses' accounts of intimidation tactics designed to discourage media attention provided one explanation for the limited coverage. If effective pressure was applied to prevent witness cooperation with journalists, this could explain the absence of detailed media investigations to restrict information of multiple data types, including witness testimony, information processes. These legal obstacles conventional freedom of information processes. These legal obstacles could have discouraged media attention by making thorough investigation difficult or impossible. The scientific analysis of the pattern and extent of damage with known natural phenomena, but non-magnetic measurements taken at the system with other objects moving at high speed. The electromagnetic measurements taken at the site showed anomalous signatures that persisted long after the incident. While such measurements can result from various causes, their presence in conjunction with other evidence types created a picture incorporation, while limited by classification restrictions, confirmed that authorities considered the incident to involve matters of national security importance. This classification elevated the incident beyond routine military activities and suggested recognition of its extraordinary nature. The